Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, it don't work without you guys, man. So, let's make sure we keep working with you guys. Let's get open for business and let's wake up the football gods. Wake up, guys. Wake up. Wake up, guys. Okay, so here we are. I'm not going to talk about my quarterback, Dak Prescott, because it doesn't matter what I say. Because if you like Dak Prescott, you're going to be all in on what I'm saying. If you hate Dak Prescott for whatever reason, you're going to be a closed-minded individual, and you're not going to actually look and listen because you are dead set in your ways, in your thinking. So it's like literally speaking to a brick wall. It literally is. So I probably just shouldn't even try. Um, I just really just shouldn't. Okay, let's put it this way. I am a supporter of Dak Prescott. I believe in him. I look at his numbers that have been improving over the last 3 years, and I believe that that guy deserves to be paid. Flat out. And you can either agree with me or disagree with me, and you have the choice whether to watch the channel or not watch the channel. But I'm not going to change my opinion unless he changes his play on the field. That's it. And I'm going to keep pounding out there like I do on Instagram as everybody keeps talking about how great Carson Wentz is. But technically, I got to be honest, if you look at his numbers over the course of the last 3 years, he's actually gone downhill. But anyway, I digress. That's not what this video is about. This video is about how do we fix the Dallas Cowboys, fixing the boys. And as we look around at things, we got to figure out who should stay and who should go. Now, the Dallas Cowboys finally let go of the past with Jason Garrett and pretty much the whole coaching staff. We have very few people that have been here other than Kellen Moore, Ness Meyer, and Leon Lett. So we're going to have a completely new philosophy from what we used to do back in the 90s. Jason Garrett and that whole time frame is now gone. And you can either agree with it or disagree with it, but the reality is it's gone. This is turning a whole new page. Now we have three players that are part of the old page. Sean Lee, as well as Des Bryant wanting to come back, and Jason Witten. You cannot say Jason Witten without realizing that he will be a Hall of Famer. There's no doubt about it. The amount of catches and receptions that he has made in his career, there's always a play that you will never ever forget. And I remember him running down the field without the helmet and still beasting and just pushing people out of the way. Jason Witten has always been a stand-up, incredible guy. But here's the reality of football right now. The dynamics have changed where tight ends are like the new wide receiver now. Tight ends are just as important, if not more important, than your number one wide receivers. I think about some of the best receivers in football, wide receivers, like Antonio Brown, like Odell Beckham, like Julio Jones. Those guys that aren't winning Super Bowls. We can look at the T.O.s and the Chad Ochocinco's and things. And those guys didn't win those Super Bowls. But when you look at the recent history of Super Bowls, one thing that most Super Bowl championship teams have in common is great tight ends. You could look at New England and say one of the main things that's been missing from them this year was not having Gronk. I think that hurt Tom Brady more than anything else because Gronk, much like a quarterback, will make players on the team better because they're that good. It's the same thing about a tight end. When you have that guy that's a security blanket, that guy that can make plays and make catches and get downfield, that guy who can also block, it makes a difference in football. And that's where you have to look at the Dallas Cowboys and say, we need to improve. Not that Jason Witten didn't make catches. He did. Jason Witten, if you go through the numbers here, let me move it on up. Jason Witten was 8th in yardage. 529 yards. Okay, he was 8th. So you look at that and say, well, Mark, he was 8th in the NFL. But see, here's the thing about it. As you look at Travis, who was the number one tight end, Super Bowl champion. You look at the Eagles, who they said that Carson Wentz had nobody to throw to. I will disagree because between Zach Ertz and Dallas Gephardt, they had two. Zach Ertz, 916 yards, 88 receptions, 10.4 yards per completion. And Dallas Gephardt, who as the second tight end, had almost as many receptions as Jason Witten, but had more yards, almost 2 yards more per completion, and had more touchdowns. Excuse me, where am I? Touchdowns. Dallas Gephardt had 5 TDs to Jason Witten's 4. So you look at the Eagles and you say, they had 11 TDs and over 1,500 yards. 1,500 yards by the tight end. So when they tell you that Carson Wentz didn't have anybody to throw to, you had 2 of the top 10 tight ends that you were throwing to. And you could look at the top tight ends that are in here. George Kittle, San Francisco. He's the 4th rated. Zach Ertz, playoff team. Darrell Walker is the only one who wasn't in the playoffs. But you look at his 90 receptions, 1,145 yards, 12.7 yards per completion. Clearly, tight end is a game changer. And it's my thing, because as we go down, you'll see Blake Jarwin at 31st, tied, with 31 receptions. You're going to say, yeah, it's not a whole lot. But what I want you to pay attention to is this. Blake Jarwin, 11.8 yards. Let me bring this up some. 11.8 yards per reception. That's not bad. Let's go back to Jason Witten. Bam. Jason Witten, 8.4. Every time Blake Jarwin caught the football, it was over 3 yards more per completion. And as we look at Jason Witten, that 8.4, there's only one person in the top 40 with less yards per reception. Vance McDonald for Pittsburgh. Clearly, we're not getting the production that you need from a tight end from Jason Witten. And as hard as it is to let go of the past, I think in this case that you got to look at it and say, Jason Witten, who when we brought back, we said, he's going to be a role player, 25 plays a game. I was good with that because I looked at him and said, he's a possession guy that has got sure hands. But that's not what it ended up being. It ended up being Jason Witten is my starter. He's getting the lion's share of the work. And we're going to have Blake Jarwin as the number 2 tight end. And if we do that for another year, I'm afraid those numbers are going to continue to go down. And you're going to waste an opportunity because clearly tight end is now a weapon. It's not the days of Mike Ditka when it was just you were blocking. Tight end has to be a guy to help propel you down the field. And we have not had that for quite a while with Jason Witten. I'm sorry, but Jason Witten, I love him, but we can't have him as a full-time starter. And I think as the way the Dallas Cowboys have turned the page on the coaching staff, that it's time to turn the page with Jason Witten as well. You can agree or disagree with me on that one, but the Cowboys need to. That's one of the places that they really and truly need to take another step forward and give us another weapon because tight ends are truly now game changers. So that's all I got to say about that. So you can leave me a comment below and tell me if you agree with me or disagree with me, or what is the thing that we do on offense that ends up taking this team to another level. Do you look at any of the offensive linemen? Do you look at, say, guard, because Connor Williams maybe hasn't been quite the guy? Do you start looking at Connor McGovern? that situation? Do you look at saying, let's draft a wide receiver? Do you hold on to a Randall Cobb? Give me your thoughts. Oh, get rid of Dak Prescott for Tom Brady. I know some of you will do that. But give me your thoughts on where the Cowboys offense can improve. There's a lot of things to me, dynamics wise, that I think will help this team. One, having Mike McCarthy. Two, using Tony Pollard a little bit more so that way when Zeke Elliott gets in there, he's really ready to go. But we'll get into that stuff. We got plenty of time on that one. But give me your thoughts on the tight end position. And as always, I want to thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing. Oh, by the way, I'm still waiting for someone to explain to me why Dak Prescott is so hated and why his numbers, which are up there with Peyton Manning's first 4 years and Dan Marino's, why they're bullshit. If you can go ahead and give me a good reason, you got a shot glass rack in any team color that you want. I'll see you soon.